Stormare has built a formidable resume of film and TV projects over the last 30 years. He's appeared in the biggest of blockbusters to the most indie of indie films. And some of the many fan favorites include his work in Fargo, The Big Lebowski, and Constantine. And now you can see him on the big screen in not one, but two movies, The Last Stand and Hansel and Gretel, Witch Hunters. So, Peter, it's very, very nice to have you here in studio. Thanks for joining us.
Nice being here.
So
Pleasure.
Where do we begin? We can't play clips right now, but you promised maybe you do a little acting out of the scenes for me. Let's start with The Last Stand. Tell us about the film.
It's me and Arnie, a governor. There's a governor in the end, and I'm a gunslinger. I meet him on the main street, and it's more or less him and me, and I point a gun at him, and I say, "Who the hell are you?" And he says, "I'm the sheriff of this town." And he shoots me. And I get a hole here. And I fall back. And I'm dead. I usually die in movies.
Yeah,
cool.
What's that like? Do you like dying in films all the time? Do you ever wish that someone would let you live?
No. I'm prepping my own death. No, it's nice to be a bad guy. Every actor wants to be a bad guy. No one wants to do Prince Charming or Prince White. Even Harrison Ford said in a very, very cool interview, he always wanted to do some dark, dark characters, but no one will allow him. He tried, but movies are failing. But if you line up a bunch of actors or actresses, what do you want to do? They don't want to do Snow White. They want to do the dark witch.
What about, the problem, though, of then getting typecast as the person that's always the bad guy never gets to be the good guy?
Everybody's typecast one way or another. I mean, some of the lead actors and actresses can't change their, the hair or the smile or the way they look because they've made a lot of money in the recent movies. So keep the same image for this movie and we will make even more money. So it's part of the business to do cliches and to be typecast, but then try to do a good character out of a typecast. I do a lot of bad guys, and I do a lot of weird guys, like the guy I'm going to do now in a couple of weeks. Has this blonde hair and a big beard and a crazy scientist. But you can make them smart. There's a lot of actors and actresses that usually just walk on. And in my perspective, just deliver a line, what's in the script, and then they walk off. I at least try to bring something else to the screen so the audience at least wants to look and figure out who.
Can you tell us more about this upcoming role and the blonde do?
I don't think I can. I don't think I can.
A little hint? I don't know.
Yeah, but it's two movies, but I don't want to jinx anything.
Okay.
It's when you start saying, "Oh, I'm going to do this movie," then the movie slips away. Especially these days, everybody waits until Friday, then they fly out, start shooting on Monday. Because these last couple of years in Hollywood, all the movies are up in the air, and on Thursday,
why is that? Just based on the economy, uncertain times, or
they have stopped making movies. Somewhere in between $5 to $15 or $25 million. The $5 to $25 million. They stopped doing them, and they were profitable movies before, but they started flopping. And then the micro budget came in a couple of years ago. 1 million movies, 2 million genre movies, horror movies, zombie movies that made trillions of dollars back, and now the studios are running around, let's do micro budget that those guys invented a couple of years ago. So they're trying to steal everything that comes up, so they don't do anything in the middle anymore.
So is it more difficult times in Hollywood? I mean, for somebody that's a young actor maybe trying to break into the scene, would you say that it was more difficult
when you
were doing it or now?
It's a little bit more difficult now. But it's also more fun because you can place your heart into a small budget movie that is done for, let's say, $750,000. You get a minimum wage. It's still SAG, our Screen Actors Guild. It's still union for everybody involved. But maybe you take a minimum wage and you put a point in the back end. It's called, if this movie makes it well in the movies. In the theaters, you will get a point in the back end. You're part of building something together with a team. Before, it was more of getting a paycheck and say goodbye. And I always loved to take a point in the back end. A lot of movies flops, don't make the money back. But I've been lucky on some occasions because I like to put the heart in everything I do.
You've been in a lot of big hits, that's for sure. Let's go back to The Last Stand for one moment, too.
Yeah.
I have to ask, what's it like working with Arnold?
Our governor?
The governor,
Well, I told
the
him,
former governor.
I voted for you in the first time, not the second time.
You told him that?
Yeah. You are forgiven. He's a really cool cat. I had a couple of meetings with him a couple of years ago for another movie that never happened. So I was very happy to be casted alongside him to be a supporting lead and be the bad guy that has sort of an old John Wayne shootout in the end, a showdown between the gunslinger and him. And he's a very generous guy. He has a lot of security around him, not by his own choice, but being a governor, having death threats, having crazy people following him. But each and every day, when you have lunch, when you do a movie, you're 100 people, you sit down and you have lunch and you have breakfast. He never went to his trailer. He always sat down from the people who park the cars, from the people who take care of the trailers, from the people who do the food for you, for the people who clean, the areas, up to the producers. Every day he was sitting with people, eating lunch, talking to them. And that's why he has a super big fan base all over the world. Wherever he goes, he talks to real people.
But yeah, you still didn't vote for him the second time. Why not?
No, I think he screwed it up. And he sort of agreed.
Oh, what did they do wrong, in your opinion?
I think he failed to bring the movie business back to Los Angeles. Because I'm a first generation sort of American. I'm so proud to be an American. I'm proud to be in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, where filmmaking should be done. We have the Olympics. Was the first time the Olympics ever had a surplus. Never ever had an Olympic ever had a surplus. They had a committee and said, why the heck can we have $220 million plus? And it's a tourism. Tourism was no tourism before 1986 here. If that was the Olympics, I guess so. So they made a decision. Let's clean up the city and bring in tourists. And they do that. I've done it beautifully, I think, with Hollywood Boulevard, Sunset Boulevard. It's beautiful up there now. It's safe. The hotels are back. The Roosevelt Hotel is blooming. All the hotels are back. A lot of tourists. At the same time, when all the tourists are coming from Europe, Asia to see movie-making history, we are shooting in New Mexico, in Romania, Hungary. I've been in all strange places shooting American movies when we should make them here. And he was part of not making it happen here.
But it's expensive to film here.
It's not more expensive to film here than in any other place. We go up to Canada because they give you a tax break. You give a tax break here, it's easy. People come here to stand with Marilyn Monroe on Hollywood Boulevard, going back to Germany, saying it's not really Marilyn Monroe, she's dead, but she was once here at the Chinese theater. It's a memory. And they go to Universal Studios to go around to see the special effects. This is the mecca of filmmaking, has been since the 20s, late teens. This is where all the Europeans, Asian, all the people around the world, from Africa, from Australia, they come here. I swam across the Atlantic just to come here, crawled all the way to Los Angeles to be part of this, and I've been lucky.
But in a way, a lot of people are, and I want to move on too, but a lot of people are actually happy because then if you live in another country, then you maybe have a chance to work in the film industry without having to come all the way to Hollywood. I've worked on some feature films that were filmed in Moscow. A lot of young kids there that were ecstatic to be working on a foreign film.
Yeah, but it's boring. That is boring.
Boring for who?
Boring for everybody. The movie should be made here. This is Hollywood. You can't put Hollywood in Wilmington, North Carolina. You can't put Hollywood in Bucharest or in Sofia. You can't put Hollywood somewhere else. Just build something on a lot.
Well, how are you supposed to replace, if you need to film something in Romania for the sake of the location because you're trying to paint the picture and that's where the movie's set?
Debate you on that. I say out of 100 movies shot in Romania, 99 of them pretend to be shot in New York.
Fair enough.
So it's cheaper to fly a gang of actors from here over there, use people over there, pay them minimum money, and work hard 14 to 16 hours, skip all the union laws, and make a movie. Of course, it's cool.
Yeah.
But the movie should be made here. You can't. This is Hollywood. This is history where we're sitting today.
We've got an isolationist on our hands. Movie making has to be in Hollywood. Peter, I would love to discuss this further, but we actually have some fans that want to talk to you about some of your work and stuff too. No, but I mean, you bring up
Disneyland
some very valid points, but clearly
Disneyland in Paris, I refuse. I refuse to go to Disneyland in Paris.
I went to Disneyland in Tokyo, and it wasn't all that bad.
No, I usually go there too. I visit Tokyo a lot. It's very, very clean.
Insanely clean, and yet there are no trash cans anywhere on the street.
And no line to the Space Mountain.
And I don't understand how they do it, but it's an amazing culture. Before we bring in our hangout really quickly, can you tell us about Hansel and Gretel, which is also out right now? I mean, it's a classic, but how far does this really stray from the original story?
It's just a spin-off of Brothers Grimm by Terry Gilliam. And it's a very, very smart spin-off. It's Hansel and Gretel as grown-ups, and they hunt witches because they were burnt by a witch, they had apples in the mouth into the oven, and they survived and they killed the witch. And this is now later on in life, and they are hunting witches. And they come to this town where I am police commissioner, and they're trying to find the witches that have snatched some kids away from our village. But this was a scam set up. It's a true thing, like 100 years ago, 200 years ago. People went into a village, took a kid, or poisoned cattle, or took somebody away, and they say, the witches has taken this person. But if you pay us X amount of golden ducats, golden money here, we can bring him back and we take the curse off the city. So then they brought the kid back and said, thank you for the money, and they went to the next village. So it's a mixture of that legend and Hansel and Gretel. It's a pretty cool movie. It's a pretty cool movie. I haven't seen it all. But
you haven't seen the whole thing yet.
No, I always, when you see yourself, you go like this. You don't want to look at yourself.
You never watch any of your films?
No, never. Usually, I saw Last Stand because Arnie wanted the whole cast there. Let's see the movie, and Arnie.
So if Arnold says do something, you're going to do it.
If Arnie says it, you do it. But usually when the light goes down, you stand up and walk away because it's hard. And it was 1 year ago or 18 months ago, you forgot about it. You're on to something else if you're lucky. And it's part of making movies. Most actors and actresses I know, they hate to see their own movies. It's like, you always see the bad things. You always see.
Or you remember the day and what happened on that day when you were filming and the drama.
I was supposed to send her an email. Darn.
Let's bring in our community members. I know they're really excited to speak with you. Joining us our hangout, we've got Heather Wren in Fort Myers, Florida, Bill Russell in Louisville, Kentucky, and Jonathan Silva in St. Cloud, Florida. So hello to everybody.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Hi.
Heather, why don't you start us off? Is there anything that you want to say to Peter? Any questions you have for him?
Oh, darn.
Hi.
Hi, Heather.
Hey. Well, I'm a really big fan of your movies, but I'm also a fan of your music.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So I was wondering if you're still writing, if you're gonna record any more albums, because I really want to buy them.
I'm going to send you one.
Yeah.
I'm on to recording something I call the Highway album. It's an ode to all the highways in LA because everybody bitches about the highways here. I think everybody who bitches about highways here have never even been to Boston or New York. They've never been to a European city. So I'm writing an ode to all the highways here, and it's going to be released hopefully in the fall.
Okay, great.
I'm happy that you brought that up too. We got so mired down in the political stuff. We didn't even get to your music yet.
No, but I thank you for the music. It's this might be a horrible saying, but it's an old saying. I took it from another guy. He said, "I'm married to acting and directing and stage and movies, but my mistress is music." And that's for me, it's music is something that is cheaper than going to a shrink, and it's to be together with a couple of other talented musicians. I'm a horrible musician, but to have them bringing that little baby alive, it's something so redeeming for you as a human being. And just to sit by myself to play guitar and put bass, and today is easy with the digital revolution. You can create a song and then you can leave it to real musicians and they kick it alive. And the kid is up and running.
Yeah, for anybody out there that's wondering too, your band is called Blonde from Fargo.
Yeah. Do you play, Heather?
Yeah, a little. I play guitar, bass, keyboards.
Cool. Well, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not that good, but I just like you just sit and just record and just mess around. It's fun.
We got a multi-talented group.
Yeah,
Will, let's hear
go on
from
GarageBand or something easy and just put down a rhythm track and then you add some bass and a guitar and you sing and you have a hit.
I don't know what that.
It's as simple as that, you guys. Simple as that. Will, what about you? Do you have any questions for Peter?
Well, I've seen Blonde from Fargo. They played at Lebowski Fest in Los Angeles several years back. How you doing, Peter? It's good to see you again.
Nice seeing you. What is Tasty Waves?
Oh, that's just a surfer painting that my friend made because we're landlocked in Kentucky. We don't have any actual tasty waves.
Hey,
but,
I'm from Bowling Green in Kentucky. I got some deer jerky at home and some moonshine I just got from Kentucky.
We got plenty of that around here. But what I wanted to ask you, Peter, is on behalf of the Lebowski fans, in The Big Lebowski, you play Carl Hungus. In the mini movie, The Porno Logjamman.
Yes, sir.
You arrive on the scene as the cable repairman to two half-naked women to fix the cable, and we never know what happens. Did you fix the cable? Is what the fans of The Big Lebowski would like to know.
Or I think the Asian girl fixed my cable. To put it that way. I didn't know, thank God I didn't know beforehand. I don't remember her name now, but afterwards we had a break, we sat talking and she's there topless. And I tried to look her into her eyes and she's just there and talking. And then she said, "You should go on my website when I get home." And I said, "What's your name?" And I got her name and I went onto her website and thank God I didn't look beforehand. I didn't know about her. But she got a SAG card doing Big Lebowski, and she is a very, very famous erotic star.
Asia Carrera. She has a
you knew? Oh, Asia Carrera.
There we go.
Yeah.
So she's the one that fixed the cable.
She fixed my cable. She made me blush in the evening, not even being on an internet display.
All right, before we get too racy here, Jonathan, let's move on to you. You got a question for Peter?
Yes, I have a couple here that I wrote down beforehand. How you doing, Peter?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Doing fine.
Where are you
Let me
from?
be honest with you, Jonathan, really quickly. We probably only have time for one question.
Oh, darn.
Because we're getting a little short. So pick your favorite one.
No,
All right, no problem.
I'll be fast.
All right. At this point in time, do you have to audition for a role, or do you just ask a producer or director, "I want to be in this movie," and they make it happen?
Sometimes you have to audition. Sometimes I don't have. And sometimes I just walk out of stupid auditions because they have to hear if I can say a line or not. And I say, otherwise go and watch my 120 movies. If you don't think I can say this line, get somebody else. I'm bored. Bye-bye. Like Shelley Winters, she put up her 3 Oscars and said, you don't think I can do this part? So that happens. Absolutely. I have to go in on audition sometimes. You have to lick some. I don't lick the behind anymore. I just lick their boots.
Okay, Peter, I've got another question here, and this is from some of the Fargo fans that work here at HuffPost.
Thank you, John.
What's it like to be famous for stuffing body parts into a wood chipper?
It's a big, big honor, especially since it's a mercy killing. The guy is in pain, and he had to go. And sometimes I feel like Dr. What's his name? Kevorkian. Yeah, I'm helping poor Steve Buscemi's character, Carl Showalter, just over the threshold because he's already dead, and I'm just, making him disappear.
Do you still get recognized for that part, or what part would you say that you get recognized for the most?
It's a lot of Constantine and Armageddon. A lot of people all over the world say, well, I know the line, cab drivers or whatever. Russian parts, American parts, it's all made in Taiwan. This is how we fix things in Russia. So Armageddon a lot. And Fargo, it's still, especially now they dyed my hair blonde again for this part. So people
Coming
say,
back.
Are you the blonde from Fargo?
Is there a role that you would like to be remembered for the most?
No, more as a human being than doing. Movies is a blessing from up above. It's like I got a ticket to Disneyland, which I love. The original Disneyland is sort of my second home. But it's like I got a ticket to cut all the lines and just go into Space Mountain and then return and say, I can cut your line and go Space Mountain or the haunted house all the time. For me, it's a blessed journey. It's like a dream come true to be on this journey. And hopefully before I tip back or I close my eyelids, the last movie I do will be my favorite part. That's my ideology, and
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, Peter, I want to thank you so much for being here. And as Heather, Jonathan, and Will, we want to thank you all so much for taking part.
Thank you.
Getting your questions in there. And it's been a pleasure. We wish we had more time. We definitely have a lot of fans.
I like
in the
Elvis
comments
up
stream
there,
as well.
too. So next time we talk politics then.
Yeah, next time we're coming back and we'll talk more politics. Thank you so much for being here. And
Thank you.
everyone out there, don't forget, wait one moment. The conversation always continues. And
Yes.
that's made possible with the support of one of our founding partners, which is Cadillac. Well, thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, 'cause,
Stick around, everyone.